Is Dr. Lou, your partner in success and progress, and I help people to succeed using training and education. It is so good to be back with you. I mean, after all, we haven't been together like this since before the holidays, since before we rang in 2021. So I just want to thank you so much for those of you that are going to join me live, and then also for those of you that are going to be watching via the replay. If you would, take a second to let me know in the comments which way you're watching. So if you're watching this via the replay, you're just going to put replay in the comments. If you're watching me live right now, just wave your hand, put an emoji in the comments, say hello in some way. In the meantime, I'm just double checking my traps to make sure that you can see me and hear me. But I am so glad to be with you. I see that you guys can see me on Facebook. Let's see. I'm going live by several different devices right here, so I got to make sure. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. So this is a late night live. I haven't done this in a while, but I do this every once in a while. Part of the reason I love doing late night is because that's usually when I'm in the mood to kind of just chop it up about hot topics, what's going on, like what people are talking about. But I also, have a couple of things that I want to talk to you about because I usually also try to share things that are going to add value to your lives. And today is no exception. So that's going to be one of the two things that we're doing. I'm also trying to get comfortable in this new look, right? But a lot has happened since we've been together, we've changed individually. And I say we because it doesn't seem to be just me. Like this has been last year, 2020 was a year of tremendous change. This year, 2021 is already feeling different. And when I say different, I don't necessarily mean different than 2020. I just mean different. Like it's been a unique space. Okay, I'm checking my audio so all of you can hear me, it looks like. Thank you so much for those of you that are joining. I'm seeing you join one by one. So anyway, again, drop something in the comments. Let me know that you're here so that I can say hi back. In the meantime, we're going to chop it up a little bit. So there are a couple of topics that I want to talk to you about, but in no way do I want this to be just me giving a speech, right? If I wanted to give a speech, I'd be doing that. This can be a back and forth, a dialogue. So if you have thoughts or questions about the topics that I'm going to be talking about, please don't hesitate to chime in. Let me know what you're thinking and feeling. And we can go back and forth, whether we agree or disagree. It's just nice to be able to chat together. So having said that, there are a couple of interesting things that have been on my mind and on the mind of a lot of people, it would appear. Number one, we're a nation, a nation saying new president, who this, right? And so I'm hearing so many people excited in their feelings one way or another. People are either super mad or they are super happy. And I'm reminded that 4 years ago, it was the other way around. People still were either super mad or super happy. And what really comes to mind is this, and I have no problem discussing political topics with you guys. It might sound like I'm trying to sort of like stay on the fence when it comes to that. It's not that. It's just that this broadcast is about very particular and specific topics. But anytime that you want to either comment, DM, or whatever, so that we can talk about that as the topic of a live. If you ask me a good question tonight, I'm going to come back and answer you. But what I really want to talk to you about more specifically than that is the thing that I feel is more important even than who's in the White House when it comes to your life and how it feels and the things that you're trying to accomplish. Year in, year out, I've been in the helping business for quite some time. I'm not going to tell you how long because it'll date myself, but definitely a long time. And there are a handful of things that most people either complain about or want to change most in their life. Now, mind you, everybody's situation is different. So people come to me for different reasons all the time. But there are major areas of your life that a lot of people want to work on, want to change, or what have you. So when I hear people getting excited or upset or whatever about who's in the White House, I always think in the back of my mind about how much is that really going to change your situation. And I know you policy heads are going to come at me and tell me that policy directly impacts your life in so many ways. And I agree with you that it does, but more specifically than policy, there is one thing that no matter what is going to impact your life more than who's in the White House. And that is your approach, right? So I'm seeing a lot of people that are talking back and forth about who's in the White House right now, but you're kind of, if you haven't changed anything about how you approach life, it really doesn't matter who's in the White House. 4 years from now, you're going to be in about the same place. And I say that because I've watched people over the years. I've watched administrations come and go. I've seen people get excited about different things that candidates ran on, and I've seen lives not change. I've seen things stay stagnant. There are some patterns that people tend to fall into that they get really more comfortable with than they're comfortable with the success that they have. And if you don't work on your approach to life, you're not going to change very much about your life. Doesn't mean things won't change, because everything changes, right? Nothing stays the same except for change. But what that does mean is that your circumstances aren't going to change in the ways that you want them to if you don't change your approach. Change your approach to life, you're going to change your life, right? And here's the thing, doing the same thing, you're going to get I won't say that you're always going to get the same results, but I'm going to say that if you're not mindfully attacking life and doing the things that you need to do to get to the space you want to be in, chances are very high that you're not going to get there. All right. So I'd like to know if you agree with me on that. If so, I'd love for you to put a comment and let me know. I'm seeing a lot of looky-loos that are like watching, but they're not necessarily saying anything to me tonight. I'd love to hear from you. Are you live? Are you, and then if you're watching this replay later, I definitely want to know that too. And if you have thoughts and comments, put those in the comment section as well. So that's the number one thing that I really wanted to talk to you about in terms of the whole, the presidential election here in the United States, and, all of the talking that I'm hearing people doing about it. And I'm just wondering what's going to change. What absolutely are you sure that you're going to do differently this year than you've done before? Number two, I want to talk to you a little bit, might be teaching, I'm not sure yet, but I want to talk to you a little bit about some common mistakes that people make in their money. Because last year seemed to be a year where we needed to sit still and be with ourselves and the people that we love and deal with our feelings. And it's not that we're necessarily wide open as a nation or that things are so much easier this year, but last year was a year to really kind of get clear. This year needs to be a year that you want to get results. Right. And so money is one of the areas that everybody seems to want more of. It doesn't matter if you're considered to be in the 1%, right, or in the 99%. Most people believe that they want or need or could use more money. And of the 99%, which is most people, they believe that they don't have enough money. So having said that, most people believe that they don't have enough money. Secondly, most people who are working believe that they are not getting paid enough. And when I say that, there are statistics to back that up. And I think the statistics run somewhere between 75 to 80-ish% in terms of the percent of people who feel like they don't make enough money and the percent of people that feel like they work but don't get paid enough. So your money situation is definitely on your mind all the time, but I watch people year in and year out, decade in and decade out, not necessarily change their approach to their money. Sometimes they'll work more, but what stays the same is their approach in terms of how they're attacking their financial situation and whether or not they're going to make some changes. So I just want to talk about some common mistakes that you can avoid fairly easily when it comes to your money before I jump off tonight. And if a hot topic hits me, I might talk about that a little bit too. But you guys are kind of quiet, so we'll see. All right, so the first common mistake that people make that keeps them in the same financial situation over and over is that they don't choose to learn. Right? We leave learning in schools and we think that once we're out of school, we don't have to. And that numbs us to the fact that if we don't learn new skills, new mindset hacks, if we don't acquire new knowledge, then we're not going to change our circumstances. And that's super, super, super important when it comes to money and how we change our situation, right? The bottom line is, do you want to be in the same situation a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, or do you want that to change? So choosing to learn is going to matter. And what I mean by that is the first thing you want to do is figure out what you want to change about your money situation, and then figure out what it is that you need to know, what skills you need to have and apply, and what mindset you need to carry in order to do what it is that you want to accomplish, to achieve it, to do it, to have it, to be it. All right, that's number one, choosing to learn. Number two, you need to pick an approach And I know I've used the word approach before, but I'm using it in a very specific way right now. When it comes to your money, you need to decide what approach you're going to take. For some people, they're obsessed with debt elimination and then they wonder why they don't build wealth. Well, eliminating debt and building wealth are two totally different things. Now, both of them are useful, both of them are appealing, both of them are necessary, but they are not the same thing. You can eliminate all your debt and still be broke and be at a net zero, right? So it's important to understand that not spending money is not the same thing as making more money. It's not the same thing as amassing more money. And it's not the same thing as increasing your income or your assets or your net worth. So pick an approach though. Is debt elimination your first step? Like if there's a hole in the floor of your financial house, then obviously you do need to repair that hole before you start adding more money, or you just like flushing it down the toilet pretty much. So I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm just saying choose an approach. Now, for some people, maybe the floor is not in ill repair. Your financial foundation isn't so bad, and you need to build some wealth. You need to start adding wealth and building it. You know, you need to start accumulating money that's making money while you're sleeping, that's increasing while you're sleeping. All right. So, but my bottom line is this: pick an approach. What is it that you want to attack in your money situation, and what approach do you want to take towards getting there? And then the next thing that people do that messes them up financially, I was going to say that messes up their money situation, is they don't stick with it. They make a decision, but they don't necessarily stick with it, do anything about it. So if your commitment was in January to improve your money situation, by the end of January, half of those people have dropped it, they've forgotten about it, and they've gotten into what's familiar to them, what they call muscle memory. Between January and like February or March, I think it is, half of those people have dropped it. And so the point that I'm making is you've got to stick with it. What helps me to stick with promises like that is that I make sure to sit down and ask myself on a day-to-day basis, did I do anything to accomplish the goal that I said? Did I do anything to get closer to my dream? And if the answer is no, if I cannot answer yes, then I know to go back to the drawing board tomorrow. I know that things have to be different tomorrow, because if they're not different, then my situation won't be different. I won't be different. And so that's super important to me. The other thing that we want to do is you've got to keep evolving, right? So number one was you have to choose to learn. Number two was you have to choose an approach. And number three, you have to stick with it once you've done that. Now, let me tell you the biggest mistake people make, just period overall. And that is that they keep trying to make more money without doing any of the things that I just mentioned. Let me tell you, more money does not eliminate debt. More money does not increase your wealth. There are people who have made the millions that you are trying to make, that most people are trying to make. And I'm not saying that to say millions of dollars is enough or not enough, but there are people who have made as much money as you want to have, and they still went bankrupt. As a matter of fact, most lottery winners go bankrupt within a short period of time after winning the lottery. Most professional athletes, because we consider them to be wealthy or to be making a decent amount of money, most of them go bankrupt or at least fall into financial hardship within 5 years of retirement. So more money is not your answer. If you do not choose to learn what you don't know, choose an approach and stick with that approach, set some goals and try to get there differently than you've done before, then there's no guarantee that you're going to change anything. Making more money changes nothing. Remember that. You can go broke with a lot of money in your pocket, and you can go broke with a little money in your pocket. As a matter of fact, I've known elderly people who retired and were on a fixed income and had better credit and a better financial situation than people who have had multi-millions passing through their hands. Because if you're spending more than you make, or you're sitting on more debt than you have income, then it's not going to change very much. The other thing, which is second to this one as being the top mistake people make, is they don't create multiple streams of income. We want to put all of our eggs in one basket. And when you make job and your money synonymous with each other. In other words, if I ask you about your financial situation, you immediately tell me the job that you have, what the income is, and what the salary is. You have already automatically limited yourself. That doesn't mean having a quote unquote good job and a decent salary is not to be desired. But what that means is putting all your eggs in one basket puts you at risk. And what did we learn in 2020? That any job can go away, right? That any job can go away depending on the change in the world around you. And if your job goes away, what do you have? See, we can talk about that another time, because one of the things I do is career counseling and helping people to level up in their career, change careers. And the thing that I would tell most people, and to be honest, I got into this business because of the changes in my career that helped me to change my life, my financial outlook. And I can tell you from experience, both for myself and helping other people, that if you do not create multiple streams of income, that if you do not see your job and your work as separate from your money, then chances are you don't see yourself as a player in the game that's going to be able to negotiate even top salary and top dollar for the job that you do. You're limiting yourself if you do that. And so remember to start by seeing the money that you make in your job, your salary, as a stream of income, and look at other ways that you can create streams of income. Also, remember this, and this is just an extra tidbit, right? Look for your financial resources. It may not be a dollar amount, but it may be things that are in your life that are saving you money. Like if you have a relative that cares for your children when you work, you need to count the amount that you are not spending in childcare as that's the value of that financial resource as you're looking at your financial situation. So these are just a few things that I tell clients. These are a few things that I've learned over the years that will help you with your financial outlook. Remember to do your research, remember to, pay attention to what's happening in your life and around you. But above all else, remember this, 2021 is a new year. You have an opportunity to change your life as you've never changed it before. But you also have an opportunity to try to stay in a holding pattern and wait for the opportunity to go back to quote unquote normal. But I challenge you to ask yourself and be honest if you were really happy in your normal state that you've missed so much over the last year and a half or so that may or may not ever come back the way that you wanted it to. Were you fully happy? Because from what I can see, a lot of people were complaining, a lot of people were unhappy. And if that's the case, this is your opportunity to change that. So use it. It is so good to be with you tonight. It is so good to spend this time with you. And I'm ever so grateful that you chose to listen to this live broadcast and spend some time with me. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Evolution and Evolve and Expand on YouTube. Make sure to like and to follow. And if you have thoughts, if you find yourself, getting smart or clapping back at me while I'm talking or agreeing with me and nodding your head, drop that in the comments. A sister needs to know these things. Until next time, I have missed you so much and I'm so glad to be with you. Remember, it's Dr. Tarika Lewis signing out. People call me Dr. Lou. I help people to succeed using training and education. I love you. I believe in you. And for now, I am out.